Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice. This is number 15 of my Juice Opinions series, which happens, could be a Tuesday, could be a Wednesday, could be a Thursday, could be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's just one of those days. It's just one of those things that it depends on how I'm feeling, what day of the week I do it. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. It said when I started this that the bandwidth was below recommended. I've never seen that warning before. So for the people watching this live, if you're seeing any kind of issues, like I said, it said the bandwidth was like 800 and something instead of the usual 2500. But I did a speed test and everything was fine. But if the picture, sound, or something's wacky, let me know in the live chat. But other than that, I'm gonna just go on and let's get started. We got some people in here, so what's up, everybody? And yeah, so I want to start with my thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn. Now that we've seen actual gameplay, IGN had gameplay. There was on the Sony's website, there was gameplay. Obviously they're Sony employees, it sounded like, but they weren't like, it's not like Treehouse type stuff. Ghost Robo had gameplay, so I wanted to give my thoughts because I was looking forward to this game, and I know Red Knight he's been hitting it pretty hard, been trashing it pretty hard, and I don't feel that what I've seen. So let's just see what I feel about this game at this point. So I'll give you guys my thoughts. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but anyway, the gameplay footage. So I just want to talk about the gameplay, the things I like, the gameplay itself, the mechanics, the combat, the setting, and the art style, art direction. So those are the things that I want to focus on as the positives and things I'm really excited about. So the combat, I really believe in, there was developer stuff in the last year or so. There was a few different developer videos. And it's basically, to me, it feels like they had this idea. They showed us that T-Rex robotic animal, and Aloy, or whatever her name is, taking it down, and it was the first reveal of it at E3, and then we saw that again, and then we saw that kind of again, and it feels to me like that was their base of the game. Like, here, this is what we want. We want to have this dynamic kind of combat against these robotic animals with all these different weapon types. So there's different strategies people can approach it in different ways. And I think not just like, but with, Nintendo and Zelda, they started kind of with just an open field, and they just added things. So to me, it feels like they had that from the beginning, and they built a game around it. Now, whether the game around it's good or not, that's remained to be seen. But that core mechanic seems to have been successful, because everything I've seen gameplay-wise, it's captured what we saw first with with the smaller creatures, bigger creatures. That's still there. The different techniques for taking down those robotic animals. So that's still there, and that still looks incredible to me. It looks like something I want to play and something I want to experience. I enjoy watching other people do it, and I want to do it myself because it just looks like fun. And I don't know, can't say, but it doesn't look like something that would get boring. Just like in Rise of the Tomb Raider, shooting the bow and arrow at dudes, never got old. And I've got 50, almost 60 hours in the game. So that's what, that's a strong part of the game that hasn't changed, and I feel really confident about. And Triple Jesus said you're on chapter 3 of single player. Oh, Fire Emblem Heroes. Okay, sorry. Let's stay on topic here in the chat. I thought maybe you got the game early or something. The next thing I want to talk about is the main character's just agility and her range of movement. In the combat, it seems to be really solid. She seems to be quick and agile. And just like with Lara Croft, there's tons of animations, and it looks like it works really well. And, everything I've seen and everything I've heard, that seems to be the case. So that I'm really excited about again. And then the enemy AI seems to be really good, actually. They're behaviors seems to be a little less predictable as far as the robotic animals. I don't know what the hell to call them. Maybe they have a name. There's also humans you fight, and that looked a little less impressive. But so as far as the gameplay, like the base gameplay, I'm still super excited. I think it looks great. The setting, the post-apocalyptic setting that it's in, looks, it's very unique in the way it looks. You know, there's beautiful mountain ranges. There's red hues in the grass and the trees. It's like a fall setting. And then there's like other areas. There's a snow area in it. Red Knight was saying that he thought it was going for hyper, you know, realistic, photorealistic graphics, and was failing at that. To me, and we'll get into the art style, which kind of goes with the setting. The art style of the game, it feels like How to Train Your Dragon, but with more human proportions instead of caricatures of humans. You know, it feels like a CGI movie to me. It doesn't feel like going for real life. I love How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2. It's probably some of my top favorite animated movies, probably top 5. But those, you know, the humans in that are very caricaturized. You know, ridiculously skinny legs, ridiculously fat. You know, and so you don't have the issues of, hey, they're trying to make this person look human. So maybe that's where it kind of goes wrong for me in Horizon, is that they maybe tried to make the people look a little too human and ended up in the uncanny valley in a lot of situations. From what I've seen, the close-ups and stuff, the cut scenes. But as far as everything else, the world, you know, the creatures they designed looked, the designs of those are phenomenal. I love the white and gray kind of portal, you know, the game portal look to it, and you know how that clashes but also complements the colors of the world. And you know, her hair reminds me of I forget the dad from How to Train Your Dragon, Gerald Butler's voice actor. You know, his hair is red like that, and it's just, I like how it looks from that perspective. I don't, you know, like I said, I don't love the facial stuff that they went for, but just the art style in general it's a beautiful looking game. And if someone says it isn't beautiful, hey, it's your opinion, obviously. But if you like CG animated movies and you like, you know, more art style over gritty brown, you know, graphics and stuff, to me, like, this game is just a beautiful game. And you know, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a beautiful game. They're going for completely two different things, but I think they're both achieving it. But again, I'm excited about those aspects. Now we'll talk about the things that got me a little concerned. I will say, again, the voice acting, obviously, and people have been making a big deal about that. In the side quests and stuff, the voice acting seems to be terrible. And like I said in the Juice is Loose podcast, you know, that's what happens when you do voice acting for every single character, every single encounter. Xenoblade Chronicles X did voice acting for affinity missions, but for regular side quest, it was text, and it was fine. Like, you don't need voice acting. If it's going to be bad voice acting, just have text. You know, it's just, to me, if you time and budget wise, I'm sure they just didn't have the time, or, you know, want to spend the money on great acting for every single character. And it's just laughable in some of the things I've seen. The acting's laughable. And then the other thing is maybe not the idea of the story. I think that's got really intriguing elements, but the actual execution of the story, every single person I've heard, other than the Sony guys, obviously, from their Sony YouTube channel, says the story is pretty uninteresting. It's pretty boring. It's not very exciting. And I got that feeling. The very first story trailer, I mean, a year ago or whatever, on the Juice is Loose, we talked about it. We watched it right before it came. You know, it came out right before we went on the podcast, and I was just like, whoa, I'm concerned. Like, this story trailer is just boring. It's uninteresting. The acting was terrible, and that's going to be the biggest problem for this game. Is if you're going to have to sit through cutscenes, if they're super boring and you're not interesting and bad acted, that could be a problem. Luckily for me, I don't buy games for voice acting and story. For the most part, I don't really play games at all for the story. Some games can have an interesting story, like The Last of Us. It wouldn't have mattered to me if the story was good or bad. I enjoyed the stealth mechanics and the gameplay of that game. But like Gravity Rush 2, it's a really fun game. I enjoy it, and the story's pretty cool and interesting, but it doesn't matter. I spend most of the time just flying around and stuff. So luckily for me, story and voice acting especially doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect me. It's so bad in that one scene that it's laughable, and it actually could add some entertainment value there. But I have a feeling this game's going to be like GTA 5 to me, where I just get lost and find the thing I like to do, which in GTA 5 was fly around in a plane and explore like the mountain area and do the like sea-doos and boats. And I rarely gave much thought to the actual story and characters. Like it didn't matter to me. I just liked flying around, and it was an impressive, like when the sun would set and the clouds would come in, it was just a really impressive game. And I never finished GTA 5. And I can't say I absolutely regret buying it, because I had some really good moments and a lot of fun, probably 20, 30 hours I really enjoyed. And then another 10 where I was just so frustrated by the fact that they can't improve the damn controls in that game. So, but as far as Horizon, I'm still excited for the game. Like, I want to play it. The world looks great. The gameplay looks amazing to me. Like the combat and stuff. It wasn't like, I thought that was fake when I first saw it at E3. I was like, they're not going to pull that off. Like this is what they're hoping for, is bullshot stuff, and it seems to be what they actually accomplished. And seeing a little raptor like seekers or whatever they're called, and setting like the tripwire and other tactics, and it looks like it's challenging and it looks fun. And you guys know me, I love Tomb Raider. I love Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I see a lot of that as far as the mobility of the character. I see a lot of that in Horizon from Tomb Raider, and I'm not a fan of Tomb Raider games. Let's see, I say the first one or two was pretty revolutionary for its time, and then even the midway through the Xbox 360, the 7th gen, the Tomb Raider Underworld and whatever, it still felt like it was the same game engine as far as the control. The shooting sucked. The climbing, everything looked, when she was hanging from a ledge, it looked like it was the same as it's always been. And it wasn't until 2013 when it's like, all right, we're going to take what you like about Tomb Raider, but we're going to give this character just about any possible movement and ability you would ever want in navigating an environment in a third-person perspective. They did that, and it's like I'm like in a toy box, and just I feel like I'm controlling Lara Croft. Like, everything I want to do, jump this gap, hang from this, climb up here, I can do it. And it feels like there's limited to no restrictions. And that's why I'm excited for Horizon, because it looks like they kind of emulated that with the way Aloy, whatever her name is, moves around. And so that's why I'm the most excited. The other thing, I've heard a lot of comparisons. Hey, this game basically structured like Far Cry. And while that's not the most exciting thing to hear, I did finish Far Cry 3, and I did enjoy lots of elements from it. The things I didn't like about Far Cry 3, other than I got it on the 360 and it was just so sluggish, the frame rate and stuff, but I hated the main character. He was what do you call it? Adrenaline junkie, millennial type. Your friends are in danger and stuff. You're almost dying, and he's like, yeah, this is fun. That kind of stuff just goes against everything that I like about a character. So I absolutely hated the main character, which that definitely hurts the rest of the game. Didn't care for the island setting. It was all pretty boring and blah looking to me. Not much variety, very boring. And then the story itself was just really stupid. But I enjoyed hunting. I enjoyed getting new weapons, and then the enemy bases you would take out. That was really fun. and just kind of, even though the island was boring to look at, it was pretty fun sometimes just to drive around and explore and see where you ended up. And, you know, technically, I guess it was a pretty looking game, but like I said, the island setting was very boring. So the things that Horizon that I see that it has in common, potentially another bad story, but it's got the other part was climbing the radio towers in Far Cry was like a puzzle every time. Everyone was different. I don't know that you're getting this in Horizon because climbing the tall necks looks the same every time, but actually finding a spot to jump up onto them looks like that might be a little bit of a puzzle. And then the enemy bases, they copied that idea. So you have to take out the guys, the men or women, whoever, the natives, and then you get that base and it becomes a fast travel and then your allies move in. So that regard, that was my favorite part of Far Cry 3. So that's pretty cool to see. You know, the tall necks, for anybody that didn't watch the footage, is your Assassin's Creed High Point or like Far Cry, the radio towers. It unlocks maps and it's part of the map and side quests get displayed. It looks pretty, you know, it looks way cooler, and maybe it'll get boring by the 20th time you have to climb this thing the exact same way. But, you know, that's kind of and then the hunting part, like, that feels very Far Cry from what people are saying. So I'm still intrigued and I'm still looking forward to playing the game. But ever since January 12th, I've been debating. I've had a decision to make. Ever since the announcement of the Switch releasing only 3 days after Horizon, I've been debating. You know, I get the 10 or 20% off from Amazon, so it's $50 after tax if I keep my pre-order, and maybe I'll just get it, you know, for 50. Who knows when the price drop? But after thinking about it, it had nothing to do with any of the negatives. I'm actually none of the negatives that people or that I've seen is anything I wasn't expecting. So, but I canceled the pre-order, and I'm just going to focus on Legend of Zelda. I'm not going to try to split focus. I'm not going to start Horizon and play it for 2.5, 3 days, and then have it sit there for a couple months and go back to it. So I'm just going to wait, and I have a feeling it's going to, you know, like a lot of Sony exclusives, by the time I'm ready to play it this summer, because I really think Splatoon 2 is going to be August to September. So there's going to be a couple months there in the middle of the summer. And if I can get it for 40, I think that's, I'd gladly pay 50 if it wasn't for the Switch coming out. So that's really the only factor that I've made my final decision on. So I'm going to get the Switch and probably Bomberman and Fast RMX for sure. And a few other indie games probably. We'll see, World of Goo or something. So I'll have things to keep me busy. And I'm still playing through Gravity Rush 2 and Resident Evil 7. I'm in love with Gravity Rush 2, and I really like Resident Evil 7. Those are going to get me through all the way to the Switch release. Because, you know, I don't really talk about this a lot, but ever since, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe 4, I decided I used to have basic cable all the time, and I just didn't really watch TV. And then they took away the free HD, cable, and you had to get a box. I said, why don't I just get a digital cable package and on demand and all that? So I've been hooked the last 4 seasons of a lot of, 4 or 5 seasons worth now. So my week consists of Monday, I do the podcast. So Tuesday, I got to catch up on Supergirl. And then The Flash, which I don't watch that live, but I do watch on Sci-Fi Face Off. It's a, what do you call it? A prosthetic, what do they call that? For like making movies and stuff, prosthetic makeup competition. I watch that live on Tuesdays, and then I watch Supergirl on demand on Tuesdays. And then on Wednesday, I got to catch up on The Flash before freaking Sci-Fi Channel. They have so many good shows, The Magicians, and now The Expanse is back for season 2, and phenomenal shows. And then I miss Arrow and the 100. So on Thursdays, which is today, then I watch Arrow and the 100, and then finally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and my gaming is free. And I wish I could. I just can't quit on these shows. Like, and when iZombie comes back on, if it's coming back, I thought it was, but that'll be another one. And then Walking Dead on Sundays when that comes back. So I'm kind of a slave to some TV shows. I've been a few of them, like Arrow. I think they're on season 5. Been that since the beginning. The Flash is on season 3. That is probably my favorite of the CWs with Supergirl and Arrow. But the sci-fi, if you got the Sci-Fi Network, I'm telling you right now, if you're not watching The Magicians or The Expanse, you're doing something wrong. You're doing TV wrong. The Expanse is the best sci-fi show we've had since Battlestar Galactica, the remake. Easily. It's so good. The Magicians is a fun show. And then the summer you get like Dark Matter and Killjoys. So anyway, that's just to let you know why I don't have time to play games all the time. I'm not ready to give up on TV yet. I mean, I pay for it, so I might as well use it. So anyway, let's get on to the main topic, and that's Nintendo Switch advertising, marketing, the Super Bowl ad, the extended version. I'm gonna give my thoughts on that, and then on how I feel about how this is different compared to 2012. So first off, the Super Bowl ad for Legend of Zelda is basically a 30-second version of the extended, what is it, 1:40, and Imagine Dragons' new release song, Believer, and wow, I mean, what a fantastic commercial. And I, now that, because I know what the Switch is and I know what Zelda is, I would have preferred the orchestrated music of Zelda, and I've seen a shortened version. I think the UK YouTube channel has it, of the 3-minute trailer from the January 12th event, where it's a 30-second version. It hits all the same notes and ends in that awesome way with the title screen as Link about to stand, and it cuts to the title screen. I would have preferred that. I think that's more cinematic, but they got to get people who don't know what the Switch is, they got to give them a taste of what the Switch is, and I think they nailed it. They show all aspects. They show it mostly in the portable mode, and then they show it docked. I wish, like Red Knight pointed out, they show him docking it or undocking it, but not redocking it. I think that's correct. I haven't watched it today, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I think it's phenomenal. I can't wait. I'm so excited that they're doing a Super Bowl ad. It's historic for Nintendo, not only to do a Super Bowl ad, but just to do a primetime ad for a game and their console. Somebody can tell me if they've ever done that before. I've never seen it. Both videos have 1.3 views combined. Which one? The trailer, the 30-second and the extended, I'm curious, from Unforgiven. But yeah, I think it's a good way to get people who don't know what the Switch is. They're watching the Super Bowl. You got, 120 million people watching. You give them that song just hits every note. Like the beat to it is perfect, in my opinion. And the way it syncs up with the footage is awesome. So let's talk about the extended version. Now, the extended version shows in 1:40. It feels like 40 seconds of that is 1-2 Switch. I might be wrong. It's just how it feels. Then Street Fighter 2 for a little bit, Mario Kart, and then Zelda. Basically, the 30-second Super Bowl ad is in that extended, combined with the other stuff. So I really like that ad. The song, again, same song. I'm really feeling that song. Rob of Rule 2, for some reason, he doesn't like Imagine Dragons, which I don't think that doesn't even factor in for me. It could be Miley Cyrus singing that damn song. And if it was that exact same just feeling, it fit the commercial perfectly, then I'd like, I hate Miley Cyrus, but like it's just a thing. Rule 2, he's very passionate about his disdain, I guess, of Imagine Dragons, and it's kind of clouding his opinion of the trailer, but I think it's a perfect fit, and I love it. So it shows the motion controls. It shows arms. It shows arms as well. But I'm a little concerned. Well, not concerned, but I'm a little disappointed because I feel like 90% of that ad is tabletop or portable mode. And it's like, this is a home console. They keep saying it's a home console, but they barely show it as a home console. So I don't know. Maybe this isn't for us, like I said. But I have a friend who I've talked about before. He's the guy who's a Sony fan, and he thought God of War was coming out on the 31st of December because he saw the commercial for the PlayStation 4, which featured God of War, and he saw it on Amazon, so he pre-ordered it. He thought it was coming out. He's an uninformed gamer, basically. His takeaway, because I sent him a message, is he said it looked like the Game Boy plus combined with the Wii, and that was it. Like, that was his thoughts. He said it looks pretty cool, and then Zelda looks solid. So for me, that's not a win for Nintendo that a Sony guy only sees the Wii stuff and the portable stuff. So I don't know. It's just one person, but once he said that, I rewatched the trailer, and I see why he said that. I feel like they should have shown it docked more, and at the very least, show 1-2 Switch being played with it on your TV screen every single time they show it. It's in tabletop mode. So to me, that sends the wrong message. Hey, this is something you take. Here's this tablet you prop up, and it's, to me, show it there and then show it on the TV as well. Show somebody plug it in or have it, docked, and then like, oh, let's go outside, and then they take it with them outside. To me, that would have been a better message. But I predict that the 1-2 Switch ad will be that footage taken right from that extended clip, and maybe even use the same song. I think that's why 1-2 Switch was featured so heavily. I think that's the other game they're gonna promote the hardest, other than Zelda, at launch. So I think that's part of why. And I don't think long trailer is never going to be on TV. But if it was me and they asked my opinion, I would say show it docked with 1-2 Switch on the TV. I think that's something that's missing. But anyway, it's definitely a new Nintendo. The Wii U ads were embarrassing at best. The families in the little cubes, and then they pan out and it makes up the U. It wasn't exciting as a Nintendo fan. It didn't even make me want the Wii U. I wasn't gonna buy the Wii U at launch until like the week before. I said, there's a new Mario game. I have to play it, and it turned out to be a really great 2D Mario game. It's my favorite since Super Mario World, and it's probably in my top 3, behind Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3. But anyway, those ads did nothing for me, and obviously did nothing for everybody else. And then you got the 3D World ad, and shout outs to Robert of Gaming With Me. He kind of broke down the marketing, and he went over a lot of this in his video, and it was really, really fun and entertaining. So guys, go check out Robert at Gaming With Me. He's got some really good content, and he's getting some more subscribers now that he had that little video blow up with the touchscreen of the Switch. But he did a really good video, and I'm kind of repeating what he said. But the 3D World commercial had kids in freaking the ugliest cat suits you ever seen. They weren't even like well made, and just ridiculous. Like, it was just a bad commercial. The game's great. I'm debating whether that's my favorite 3D Mario game. Like, it's right there with the others, with the Galaxies and Mario 64. But that commercial was terrible. I don't even remember commercials for Pikmin 3 or Donkey Kong's. They were just terrible. So this is definitely a new Nintendo, and it's new marketing Nintendo for sure. And they got a relevant new song with a really good beat. The lyrics are actually very fitting for the gaming industry in the current state, and the way the Switch make me a believer. Playing it, I think, is going to make people a believer. It's just a completely different Nintendo. It just feels so much like more professional and more on point, and I'm just super excited about what I'm seeing, and I just can't wait to continue this. They don't have to use that song or that type of ad every time. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them follow that up with the Legend of Zelda ad with the orchestrated music, now that people know what it is. So super excited. The marketing seems perfect, and I love it. Like I said, though, the only thing I would show the home console docked mode a little more, just because you don't want to have that little chance of confusion for people that just aren't in the know. But yeah, overall, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl for the first time in like 5 years. I've cared enough to like, I'm going to sit down and watch the game and the commercials. The last like 4 years, I've gone to my parents' house and he's got a shuffleboard. We got food and just people talking and stuff. And I haven't paid attention to the game. I'm trying to think of the last one I actually paid attention to. So I'm just like, nope, I'm not going to do none of that. I'm going to watch this game. I'm going to watch the commercials. And I'm really excited to see people's reactions because it's not a funny commercial. It's not going to be one of those, oh, you remember that commercial with the dog in it? And then no one even remembers what it was for, like what company or what they were selling. This just, to me, like for the people that are into gaming or they see it, they're going to know this is a Nintendo system and this is something new. And, you know, I've never been able to play my game in my kitchen and then you know, even though you could with the Wii U, in my house I could, but you know, they're going to see that. And I think it's really cool. And who's going to win the Super Bowl? I hope it's Atlanta. I'm so sick of New England winning. But either way, I just want a good game, and I want some good commercials. Ghost in the Shell trailer, they've already showed that. That's going to be in the pregame. That movie looks pretty cool. I'm a fan of the series and the animated movies, but so yeah, I'm excited about the marketing. I mean, at this point, before the Wii U's launch, I mean, there was no momentum. There was none. And I wasn't in this video game community on YouTube or anything. So I can't really gauge it on that level. I can just gauge it on you know, I was looking for the Wii U. I was looking for reviews and stuff like that. And I was getting excited, but it wasn't even close. Like my hype level for the Switch is just ridiculous. So, and the other thing, great, I'm glad, Sprite, that you brought that up. Instead of, you know, advertising on Cartoon Network and Hulu is basically what they did for the Wii U. They're doing the Super Bowl ad. Now the next step is to do primetime TV, do ads during The Walking Dead coming back. What is it, next week or this weekend, this Sunday or next Sunday? Have ads then during The Walking Dead, because you know millions of people are going to tune in for it's back since it's mid-season break. You don't have a zombie game like Zombie U, but advertise there. What's on CBS? Big Bang Theory. Nerds and stuff, like they do. There's episodes talking about getting the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, advertise your video game system in prime time for audiences that will see it, and you know people watching the Big Bang Theory are gamers, or a lot of them are going to be gamers. So be smart with who you advertise it on, or what networks you advertise on, and what times, and what shows. You know, I wouldn't say throw your best ad at CSI or anything like that, even though that gets a lot of ratings. Your audience is 40 to 70 years old, you know. So be smart about it. I like what they're doing. Let's just keep it going. And it's just an exciting time to see where they go and to see what the Switch does now. Kimishima said that the pre-orders are going well, so they're going to increase production. That's a good sign. We're getting games announced, you know, almost daily at this point. There's that Snakes game that looks like ukulele. I forget what it's called, but that's coming. And it just looks like third parties are getting excited, and I think gamers are excited, except for, you know, the Sony and Microsoft, like, ingrained fanboys who just never own a Nintendo system. You know, nothing Nintendo could make would get those guys excited, and those guys are irrelevant to me. I don't follow any of those, but anyway, you know, someone like Zobi70, who's big Sony guy, has always been a big Sony guy, and whether he's legit or not, we'll see if he buys a damn Switch. But he seems to be genuinely excited. Hopefully, there's more people like that. Yeah. So one last thing. The Active Gamer Life's top 10 reasons he's excited for Zelda video is just pure gold. That video is just, my hype for Zelda was at a 12, and watching his video 12 out of 10, I mind you. Watch his video. My hype level increased. I did not expect to be even more excited for Zelda. I watched that video, and I won't spoil anything or try to emulate, Red Knight, because he is very unique. But the end, his favorite, the thing he's most excited for, man, I was dying. I was dying. It was great. Super excited. So if you're subscribed to AGL, and if you haven't watched that video yet, just definitely go watch it. It's pretty awesome. So, but anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I'm gonna go watch the 100 and play some Resident Evil 7 and maybe Gravity Rush 2. The thing about Resident Evil 7 is the damn loading times. If you don't play, resume play, like if you from suspended play, I should say, if you like actually close the application and then load up your save file, it's over 2 minutes to get in. So I'm kind of like, that's the reason I keep playing it, because I don't want to deal with load time. So I might just try to finish that game and then get back to Gravity Rush 2. So, but yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll stay in the live chat a little bit after here. For the people that are here live, if you're watching this on the replay, leave a comment below, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.